authorized to fire at will.
Hey, welcome to Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, MBRR podcast. It is Monday night, so it is TC and Friends Monday Night Musings. If you haven't figured out why I chose Monday Night Musings, it's because it's always a serious show, but we tend to ramble when I have either myself or guests on. And I can almost guarantee you there will be rambling tonight. Because my guest tonight is Tav, the angry vet, Kevin. And we have a tendency when we interact to do very serious rambling. We ramble seriously. And the lights are down in here tonight because my studio is also my home gym. And I worked out before I did this tonight, and it's still a little hot in here. You guys are lucky you can't feel it or smell the gym type feel we've got going on. But for those of you that are tuning in because you are fans of the Angry Vet, and who isn't a fan of the Angry Vet? I mean, even the VA loves the Angry Vet in different ways. But for those of you that are new, haven't tuned in before, I'm TC, your humble and not so always easy to get along with host. And I like to bring on people for Monday Night Musings who are going through it or who are taking a stand. And that's one of the things that I love about Kevin. When I first met him, I met him in my other part of my media personality side, and that is as co-host of the Veteran Nation, which I'm working things out with Skipper to start setting up a regular show night for our Vet Nation show. But that's where I first met Kevin, and then I said, you know what, I got to get him on. I had him on my show, and then we did a breakdown of one of his arrests. And when I say one of his arrests, I mean one, because there have been several now, and they're all bogus. And I'm going to let him tell his own story. But what I want people to understand is what's happening in the world is that a lot of people, if you look at the Angry Vet, you look at, we've got a Veterans Affairs Media in the audience. We're trying to talk him into coming on tonight. But when you look at people like Kevin from the Angry Vet, you look at Veterans Affairs Media, you look at Bellw from Flex Your Freedoms, a lot of these people are coming out of the military. They swore an oath to the Republic to keep and defend the Constitution. They swore an oath to defend the natural rights of man here in our great Republic. And they look around and, like, it's for them. What's going on? The people who they feel like they should have a lot in common with, law enforcement, are the very people that are pissing on them pretty much constantly. And I won't say we saw this today, but a Veterans Affairs Media had a live stream where he had to go and he was trying to file a complaint at his local VA, and they wouldn't give them, the public servants wouldn't give their names after they refused service to him last week. And this has got people mad, pissed off. Like, is this what I serve my republic for? Is this what I serve my nation for? Is this, in the case of Kevin, the Angry Vet, like, he served in a capacity that a lot of people in active duty, active service, never had the opportunity to do. He literally, in many ways, served in a frontline defense of our nation here in our nation, only to be betrayed by the very people who, shall we say, or as I said earlier, are more often seen to be in alignment with the values of the people who swear that oath in the military. So, folks, we've got this stream going out on Facebook. We've got this going out on Twix. For those of you that don't know, Twix is what I now call Twitter and X, so we call it Twix here on MBRR Pod. We've also, of course, we've got it streaming to YouTube. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube, if you haven't yet, take a look at, I finally added, last week I added in memberships on my channel. And I would love for those of you that are encouraged by the show, that like the show, just go over and pick a level of support. I don't care which level it is. You pick a level of support. Toss me a little bit of that hard-earned money that they're going to strip from you one way or another anyway, and give it to somebody that's going to stand up for your rights and help you, help others. And I would appreciate it because I'm working on some things and trying to restore some of the income I lost when they came from me in my former life as a member of the law enforcement world, and took a lot of that away from me. And so every little bit helps, whether it's my subscribe star or it's super chats or super thank yous or memberships. Last week, my very first membership went out to Bo from Flex Your Freedoms. And I check every day. He hasn't taken it away from me yet. So we're on good ground. So thanks a lot, Bo. So if you are watching, hit the like, subscribe, share, find a membership level. And without any further ado, we're going to bring Kevin in. Kevin, thanks. Thanks, Tab. You know, it's funny. I've been watching you on so many streams lately, not just your own, but others. And everybody's like, oh, hey, Tav's here. And I'm like, who's Tav? And then I finally put it all together because I'm quick on the uptake.
Right.
Yeah. So how are you?
I'm doing good. I feel great.
Still fighting all those legal battles.
Just one now, a pretty big one. I'm 12-0 with Baltimore County Police Department. They don't want this smoke no more.
So everybody knows you're 12. Explain to everyone what you mean by you're 12-0 with them.
12 charges, 12 dismissals, and no process.
I want everybody to hear that. They have charged him 12 times. 12 times. And some of what they've charged you with have been like trespassing violations.
Disorderly conduct, trespassing, malicious destruction of private property. That was a good one. That one's called Barbasol Bandit.
Yeah. So well, since you brought that one up, tell everybody just because the channel is up and running, obviously, and you've got a massive subscriber base. And
I wouldn't say massive, but it's respectable.
You got like 36,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
That's literally 32. That's 33,000 more than I have, sir. When you have a bad stream, you have more viewers than I have subscribers.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. I've been streaming a lot lately. I've been kind of trying to work on my case and take care of some stuff, but sometimes you have to shit or get off the pot. And the other day I was on the shitter and I saw the tri-state audit needed some help down in Essex, so I hopped to it and I got my ass down there.
So just give everybody a synopsis of the Barbasol Bandit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about your big case, and then a Veterans Affair is waiting in the wings to come in. So we'll bring him in to talk about that.
The Barbasol Bandit was conceived when after my first arrest. That
was at the post office, correct?
Yeah, at the post office. I call that the Goon Squad. I only have 2 parts finished and up right now. There's probably at least 5 to 6 parts to that video. There's a lot more to it, but I'm not big on putting a whole lot of video of stuff out before I drop the hammer, if that makes sense. I want to drop the hammer on them first and get these lawsuits going before I start putting any of the meat and potatoes out there.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure.
but yeah, the Barbasol Bandit that materialized from that case because they weren't giving me any discovery. They weren't giving me any body cam footage. They weren't, they were trying basically. So I came up with a plan. And at first I was going to get some of that survey paint that you put on that the people, that the city workers use and stuff. But then
Like almost like the chalk kind of paint.
yeah, but then I decided, well, you know what? They'll probably try, as ignorant as they are, they'll probably try to get me for destruction of property in some way, shape, or form. So what I did was I bought a couple cans of shaving cream and I loaded up my sprayer and I loaded that up in the truck and I went and got the shaving cream and I headed down there to take video and pictures of exactly where I was standing. Put an X on the sidewalk of where I was standing. I drew a line like a foot past towards the street, past the actual property line. I did a whole GIS survey
I was
on it.
just saying you were doing your own GIS with Barbasol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to the GSI survey website and figured out where everything was, and I started marking shit out. And I got there in 7 minutes, no more than 7 minutes later. Baltimore County cop car comes rolling up. She parks all the way up at the top of the street. And then I noticed that like somebody kept going from the car to the post office in and out. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So then another car came up and parked right in front of her. And I was like, I need to see what the hell's going on up there, So I put my stuff down by the light pole or by the telephone pole or power pole, whatever the fuck you want to call it. And
We'll just say generally utility.
yeah, utility. Yeah. 100% public property, by the way. And I walked up to see what was going on. I was just going to keep on walking, but they got in front of me, detained me. They waited for, another cop to get there. And it turned out to be one of the first cops that kicked me out of the post office. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I just went off on them. They arrested me for trespassing on private property, disorderly conduct, malicious destruction of private property. And I think that was it. That was 3 charges for that one, I believe. 3 or 4. I can't really remember what the other one was. Maybe resisting. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long time.
So the big issue is they've had 12 different charges against you, numerous arrests. They've lost every one of those.
Yeah.
So when you show up places now, do they even bother showing up?
They don't even fuck with me. They have to show up, but they kind of know it's me or think it's me. Like the very first time, they thought I was Long Island Audit.
Boy,
Yeah, I got it. I got
you're
it
a
on
handsome,
video. I got it on video, bro. It's a beautiful thing.
you're a handsome feller, but you ain't that handsome.
I know, right? So yeah, they actually, I believe they started a task force, an intel unit, specifically dedicated to First Amendment auditors here in Baltimore County. I got that on video too. I found a lot of shit in the body cam.
What a shock. Isn't
Yeah,
it funny what happens?
yeah.
Here, like I've got body cam footage from my interaction from last January. Finally got it, and I'm still kind of going over it and looking at it. If you're like me, you look at it and you're like, "Man, I don't want to put this up because I don't know." So I'm thinking I'm going to put my body cam footage that I have up, but I think I'm going to put it up for members for quite a while first. So basically, right now, just Bo. So, but I think I'm going to put mine up for members for a bit of time, just because the way they redact here in Minnesota,
Oh, it's
the way
bad.
that the way the agencies redact is they blur out anybody's that's not the subject of the video of the request, and then sometimes they'll even blur out the audio of the other people, and then of course that blurring of the of faces, but even the audio will sometimes even affect the audio of the officer, so you're not getting the full context of even what the officer's saying behind the scenes when you're not there. And
They're even lazier in Baltimore. They literally like I should have only like for the well, I guess all of them really. I like the first one. I only should have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I should only had 7 body cams. Instead, instead, I got like 30 body cams. And what they do is they delete, they'll cut the body cam off and they'll add like the little beeps, like beep beep or whatever, and they make it out to where it's they try to play it to where it's a separate body cam. And I caught them doing it with the 2 sets of body cam footages, the one set for the first arrest, the second set for the second arrest. And I figured it out and I picked up on it, like, because a lot of they, they're supposed to have like a specific set of seconds before the audio cuts on. Well, I found some with like 15 seconds. I found some with like 30 seconds. I found some with like over a minute. Like there was no straight across the board. And I caught them all like watching every single person's body cam of every video. They would send me like 8 body cams for one fucking police officer. And going through all of it and comparing this one to this one and going to this one at this timestamp and looking at the other police officer, yada yada yada, you can see where they fucking delete it or like where they hit the mute button. So they get rid of all the muted stuff by doing it that way, by making it like it's 8 different fucking body cams instead of one police officer's full fucking body cam. And then
which really doesn't make them lazy. It just makes them shady as hell.
Oh, they're shady as fuck. Shady as fuck is
Lou Scott too is I know he follows you. I don't know if he subscribes to my channel yet. If he doesn't, Lou, you should. Just so you know.
He's awesome. Oh, you know what?
He says Angry Island Audit.
I don't even know how to see it because I'm not logged in for some reason. I can't restream this to my platform. So somebody put this on my community page if you want. So
yeah, somebody.
Loose Guns man.
And then tell everybody to become a member.
Yeah. Check out the members. Like, share, subscribe. But yeah, they're dirty.
We're all so familiar now with live streaming, and we're so good at shilling for ourselves and others now. So
it took me a while. It took me a while to like get that like, share, subscribe, blah blah blah, and to get that in every video. And I still miss it from time to time.
And then to do it repeatedly throughout the show.
Yeah.
and even say, hey, if you want to ask a question, the best way for me to see it is to do a super chat. Then you're like, people are like, well, he only wants to read me, read my. I'm like, no, I'll read your stuff even if you don't do a super chat. It's just
Yeah.
kind of nice if somebody will throw me a super chat once in a while.
I can't stand those super chats. I usually 9 out of 10 times I'll just gift memberships, and because the super chat, unless I really have something important to say and it needs to be highlighted,
Mm-hmm.
then I'll do the super chat. But other than that, because they like YouTube takes like 40-50% away from you.
Yeah, well, I think it's like 35% or something like that, and I think you get like 55 or 60% of your memberships, but it's whatever. We none of us went into this thinking we were going to get rich doing it.
Oh hell no! I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't looking at this like, oh, well, I can make some money on YouTube. Quite the opposite, actually. Quite the opposite.
My friend out in California is a graphic artist, and he's a very paleo conservative type of graphic artist. This is John Delarose. He helped push me up over the 1,000 mark, and then when I had him, he had me come on his show to talk about what my experience, and how I ended up losing my career. He had, while I'm on there, he's promoting me, telling his people to push me up over 1,000, and then he starts messaging me afterwards. He goes, "Now here we're going to get you monetized," and it was not ever like when I hit 500 subscribers, I was like, "Whoo!" I'm like, yeah, and now I'm like coming up with ways to grow the channel, because you don't realize once you're invested, it's like the sunk cost fallacy. You just kind of
Yeah.
keep going at it, even if you're not doing anything with it. You just keep going. And so, hey, we're gonna meet
Yes.
this week.
This
You're making
weekend.
a trip to the Midwest.
I am. I'm making a trip up to Iowa.
Yeah, and we're gonna and you'll be an hour and a half away from me, and so I'm gonna drive down. Y'all will get to see pictures and videos of TC and Angry Vet together. It'll be some sort of strange confluence of events with the world may melt. And I think we might be throwing Flex into the mix.
Yeah, he's supposed to meet. He's supposed to rendezvous with us. I told him I have Ming Ling in my DMs. I think he's jealous.
It would be kind of bad if you drove all the way to Waterloo and spent some time and you didn't connect with
We're
Flex.
connecting. We're connecting 100%.
So it sounds like there may be a strange confluence of all three people getting together and destroying the world.
Yeah, well, we're gonna destroy something, whether it's our
Could be
pants
a public toilet.
or we're gonna you get three vets together, something's getting destroyed. I don't know what it is yet, but we'll let you know.
Well, I think one of the greatest moments of my I've had some really stellar moments, not because of me, but where I've been able to be involved with so many things since I launched this channel. But I think one of the things that was probably one of the highlights of my, for me personally, was to be able to go down and protest on behalf of Flex, to engage the captain at the sheriff's office there, and then to go and address the city council, and just the amount of attention that Flex got in that, and to meet other people who have now come alive because of seeing what's going on.
Hmm.
And that's been one of the most encouraging things about having you around, in my sphere, in my circle. And people like flying auditors on here, Brandon Mitchell's on, and then I get to meet people like Juggalasis and others who are in here, and then names I don't recognize because they're in here following you, because you got people that just hang on every word you say, even though it's
I am the Messiah.
I'm glad you're way over there when the lightning strikes, bro. And so it's fun for me, and it's encouraging to me to watch how this community is growing. And it isn't a bunch of crackpot, soft sit types who just make up things as they're going. You know what I mean? And you
Yeah.
see, the kind of people I'm talking about.
Oh, I
They
know.
just they literally make things up as they go, and they like to throw out a bunch of yeah, they 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 throw out a lot of terminology that makes it sound like they know what they're talking about, but they really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
And then you've got just regular guys who you didn't go out to start auditing.
No.
You never had that plan. It was
No.
never part of
No,
what.
it was not part of the plan. In fact, my YouTube channel was more of like I was going to start a homesteading channel, and I was collecting all my video of my tractors and my boats and all the equipment, my sawmill, all this other horse shit that I was collecting. I got everything together, spent a shit ton of money buying stuff, and and then this happened.
Right, and that
Yeah.
um that brings me. Oh, and we've got, by the way, for those who haven't yet, I know everybody knows Nate and Samantha's story because Flex shared it, and Brian from Here's the Deal shared it. You've talked about it, Tav. Others have talked about it. Now James Freeman just picked it up and talked about it. I interviewed Nate and Samantha last week, and
I missed that,
they-
I'm sorry.
oh, I noticed you went live right as I was getting ready to go live with them, and I'm like, oh, I could.
I'm a dummy. All you had to do was call me and I would have shut it down and
No,
pushed everybody over to you.
no. You could just keep sharing it and just keep pushing people over that way. But that's the thing is, we all. That's what I was getting at, is we all help. We all help and tell each other's story. But Nathan and Sam are in the thick of it. Sam's still facing criminal charges, and as you know, it's a long drawn out game. But if
Yeah.
you guys haven't yet, go watch my interview with Nathan and Sam. Then watch their video if you haven't seen it yet, and then go over to the Bellevue, Nebraska Police Department Facebook page and very politely and intently harass the living hell out of them.
Well, allegedly harass. Like, yeah, don't harass them.
You know,
Just let them know how you feel.
well, but I say harass because that's how they're treating it. They're treating it like it's harassment,
That's
and
what they do. That's their game. That's their game.
and I think they've got to have like more than one person now assigned to just going in and keep and trying to delete all the comments because it's. I've got. I could think just in my sphere, I've got at least 10 people that I interact with on a daily basis that are over there on the page commenting on every single one of their status updates.
Yeah, they stopped deleting my shit. I actually was commenting on Baltimore County Police Department's Facebook page for a while under my own regular name, and well, not my own regular name, but another Facebook account that I had. I have like 7 of those motherfuckers. But anyway, because I kept getting kicked off of Facebook, I kept getting put in jail, yada yada
Yep.
yada. I must have 7 or 8 Facebook pages. But anyway, I only know how to get in one now, and that's the Angry Vet Facebook page. But I was commenting on that, and they were deleting my stuff, and I probably have a couple dozen screenshots of me commenting on it and then them deleting it and yada yada yada. So I opened up a Facebook page for the Angry Vet, and I started commenting as the Angry Vet on there, and none of it was getting deleted. It all stayed.
All of a sudden, they knew who you was.
All of a sudden, they started shaping up a little bit on Facebook, but it is what it is.
So, all of this really started for you because of and so we're not going to have you rehash the whole story,
Yeah,
but
that's
a lot of this really started hitting for you um, when you went through hell with the VA.
yeah. Yeah, it
and
was
you're
bad.
still facing those charges.
I'm
Holy
facing 40 years in
holy smokes!
Good looking
Flying
out,
auditor.
Greg.
Thank you, Greg. That
That's my
was
man.
like, okay, stream's over, folks. You have a good night.
Yeah, it was disgusting. Like it was and I'm slowly putting the pieces together for everybody that doesn't know. I've been putting little bits out here and there, and then I've been going like I've been telling some of the story when I'm live. So I'm gonna go back into those lives and like cut the pieces of me telling the story, put them all together for one, one whole story if somebody wants to hear the whole story because it's long and it's a lot. And it's disgusting, unbelievable what I had to go through just to get some care from the VA is unbelievable. And the fact that they're still trying to like send me to jail for 40 years for
Yes,
holding
and
myself like for like self-preservation.
watching out for yourself.
Yeah, literally
Yeah,
self-preservation.
literally.
Like I literally went into self-preservation mode, and that's what they're doing. Like I have a hard enough time remembering like look this I was supposed to take this shit this morning. I have a hard enough time trying to take my medicine and remembering where I'm supposed to be the next fucking day, let alone try to remember everything a doctor's telling me. And then on top of that, a corrupt doctor and or a corrupt police officer, VA police officer. And like my head went my PTSD just went completely off the fucking rails when that shit happened. And
And that's what people do not understand. People who are diagnosed with PTSD, people who have been through an long-term situation and have been diagnosed now with complex PTSD, which is distinctly different from PTSD.
mhm,
You don't have to be in a combat situation to have
right,
PTSD kick in. All it takes is for lack of better terminology, is being put under this just undue amount of pressure where
yeah,
you have to protect yourself that triggers that.
right,
And just so people know, you can catch all of his story about the charges that he's facing at the federal level on his channel. They're charging him with federal wiretapping violations for
well,
recording
not
his own.
federal.
Or are they
They're
doing
not,
it at a,
this is where they really fucked up, right? So so these cats, the federal police knew that they couldn't get rid of me. They couldn't stop me from coming in there recording my encounters. Um, they knew that 100 fucking percent. So what they did is they collaborated with the fucking Cecil County Sheriff's Department because the Cecil County Sheriff's Department wanted me fucking gone too, completely out of the fucking county because I was making all them look like complete fucking morons too. So they wanted me gone. They couldn't figure out how to get me gone. The only thing that they could legally do would be charge me or cite me, should I say, a citation for $250 for illegal recording or unauthorized recording is basically what the statute is, the federal statute. But they came up with this plan with Cecil County, and the Cecil County prosecutor jumped all over it and was like, "Oh, well, Maryland's a one-party state. We can get them for felony wiretapping
no, I think you mean two party.
or two-part. Yeah, my bad,
Yeah.
my bad.
Two yeah.
Two-party. Yeah, Maryland's a two-party state, and we can get them for felony wiretapping. Let's do that." So they circumvent the federal police circumvented uh, all of their policies and procedures. Like the federal police, before they even charge anyone, are supposed to call the federal district attorney
That's right.
and find out what the federal district attorney wants done, and or if it's even legal for them to do what they're doing. They didn't do it. He says that they sent an email but never got a response back. So they charged me anyway, right? Then and then they set up a well eh, for the setup they stole my camera from my wife. And they admitted on camera that they watch all my videos, so they know that it's my work product, right? They know it's what I use to remember to record shit, remember shit, disseminate information to the public. And they used that 10 after the arrest, 10 days later, they wrote a fucking search warrant for the phone. 10 days after they took it, right? And
Yeah.
then it wasn't even the right cut. Like the description was wrong. They didn't execute it right.
Imagine
None
that.
of it was fucking right. Right.
Imagine that.
Imagine that, right? So they took a bunch of shit off of the phone illegally, and then stuff that I wasn't even disseminating, shit that I just needed for fucking recollection,
Yep.
for my fucking notes, and used that to indict me for 5 more fucking charges, throw 5 more fucking charges on me. It's disgusting. Totally disgusting.
Nate threw up here a while ago and I missed it. Bellw Protest is next. Yes, Nate, we are going to work on a Bellw Protest for you guys. By the way, I can speak for anybody who's within a driving distance of you that we're all very interested in getting down to Bellevue, Nebraska to help you guys out, make your voice heard down there. So you're looking at 40 years in prison.
And it
In
gets
federal
worse.
prison. Yeah.
It's worse. It gets worse than that, because the lawyer that I paid $30,000 to fight my case and present my arguments, I have all the I mean, I had most of the arguments before I even went into that fucking VA and recorded, because I did the fucking research. I
Mm-hmm.
looked up all the fucking case law. I looked up all the statutes, the fucking jurisdiction, every fucking thing. I went through fucking all of it. And guess the heat came down on my lawyer. I called him to the fucking table for working with the state's attorney, and not telling me about a deal that had been on the table like 2 weeks after I hired his ass. I mean, not telling me about motions hearings, and I'd have to just show up. I mean, I was following everything through my other lawyer. I was following everything through, Pacer and all that other horse shit. And he just refused to do the shit that I asked him to do the way I asked him to do it. And push came to shove, and he.
Is it just me or did Kevin freeze? I think Kevin froze. I
You
don't
there?
think it's me. Yeah. I think you froze, Kev.
Oh, my bad. So
No,
it
you're good.
forces me to go pro se, and I gotta put in a federal, emergency petition, get that in there. That doesn't get dismissed based on its merits, and we're like, here we go. And we argue that a couple times. They try to get me to the state tries to send me to trial without a fucking lawyer, and I have to try to squash that and get it continued. I get that continued. They didn't want to do that, but I got a bunch of shit on the record. I got the judge to basically almost get out of his chair, slam his hands down on the desk, and say, "I'm not playing games with you." Literally got him to lose his shit.
On the prosecution. Well,
So they
Kevin,
tried to get. I think it's on your end, TC. You
you
keep
think so?
blacking out. Yeah.
Oh, that's very odd because it's funny because
I
I
keep
can
blacking
see.
out for you. It
Yeah.
looks like you just turned the lights off. Now you
Can you
just
see?
turn the lights on. Maybe,
Oh, that is
maybe it.
very.
Yeah, that's weird.
Huh.
But so we ask for we motion the court to stay lower court proceedings in lieu of this ruling that both sides have asked for, and they refuse to do it. They literally refuse to stay lower court proceedings. They are still trying to get me to a trial, even though it's in the upper courts, in a
Yeah,
federal court.
they might be barking up the wrong tree with that one.
Oh, they're 100% barking up the wrong fucking tree. And,
They can't even get you on the two-party consent issue. It's just so ridiculous.
I
But
it's hard. It's
y-
federal property. Like,
yeah,
what
it's
the
federal.
fuck?
Yeah. So everybody can catch a little bit more of your story on your channel, but
Yeah.
we have a mutual friend who is going through his own battle with the VA. A Veterans Affair Media is here, and he's there. He is. Hey, bro.
My
Hello.
brother from
It,
another.
he's like, oh, look at that. He even went so far as to put up a sheet.
He
Is
hung a
it-
green sheet.
is that is that a is that a is that for the splatter later?
I'm in the splash zone.
Is it plastic sheet? Is it a plastic sheet?
I'll never tell.
So we've never interacted. I mean, I've watched your stuff, but we've never actually interacted. I'm TC, and thanks for coming on. And
Thanks
you
for
are a
having me.
vet.
Yes, sir.
Oh gosh.
Sorry. I know. It's my first time. I'm just trying to be respectful.
No.
I don't do
Oh, hey,
that.
look, we've got Kevin here. There's no need for
Right.
you to
All right,
worry about being
zero.
respectful.
Zero couth on this live
Zero.
tonight.
So, tell us a little bit about your military career.
I was spent 10 years in the U.S. Army, and I was injured while in service. I was retired out, and now I'm trying to battle my way through a different type of combat zone, the VA.
You were medically retired, I assume.
Yes. Yes,
What was
TC.
what was your MOS, bro?
I was 15 Juliet. I was in helicopters, did electrical work, I did the avionics and weapon systems.
Avionics, electronics.
Roger.
Yeah. Would you work on Hawks
Kiowa,
or?
on the Kiowa, 58.
Oh yeah, Little Birds.
No, I didn't get to work on the little birds. I was working on the big brother of those,
Oh, okay.
little bit bigger bird.
So you were injured. Were you injured on a deployment or?
Yes, I was injured. There was an explosion, and I got pushed back and landed on my head. Got a lot of neurological damage from it.
Yeah.
A lot of people think I'm crazy, but my brain's just a little tweaked out.
I wonder why. So you're more sane than a Marine.
I would say so. I don't eat crayons.
Oh, it's
Sorry,
a
Skipper.
long running joke between me and Skipper on Vet Nation, because he's a Marine and an officer.
Right.
So, but so you're having your own battle with the VA, and you've had repeated situations now where you have been denied service, and to the point where you're actually being stalked by the person that's supposed to be your primary care physician.
Yes.
And now is that primary care physician? Is that and I
No,
want
through
everybody.
my battle, I've actually achieved the ability to go outside of the VA for my care. So now I'm on the community, but unfortunately, I still have to deal with going inside because that's the only way I can get my medication.
So to get your meds, you still have to go to the VA. You can't do community care.
So all of the medication that gets prescribed to me goes straight over to my VA. It's not
Okay.
like I can't go pick it up at Rite Aid or something like that.
So you have to go to the VA pharmacy in particular.
Yes.
But you can do all of your care now out in the community.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I
But
do that now because of the whole thing that happened to me.
right, which goes back to your initially the primary care that you had there, which was it a psychiatrist?
No, it was literally my primary care, my PCP.
So like just a standard medical physical doctor who stalked your Facebook page.
Yes.
If I understand your
weekend.
story 100% correctly, who stalked your Facebook page, looked at you playing paintball and airsoft, and said you were a dangerous individual who was
Yes,
going to
somehow
do
she convinced
harm
the staff there that I'm a bad person.
because of paintball.
Yes. I know it sounds crazy, but this is 100% factual.
No, I believe you because so I want to lay this down in a way that people can understand. This individual, this doctor, didn't like you, but you have no idea why. They just determined they don't like you.
Yes, they didn't like me because I don't adhere to their rules and expectations, I believe. I don't take no for an answer anymore.
So how long were you in VA care before you ran in afoul of this individual?
At least 7 years. Like I was doing great, and I loved the VA, and
But
then there
then
was zero accountability after I found out. I found this out accidentally.
so then you get this new primary care physician and they're giving you directions, giving you all this other stuff. And you're saying, no, I don't want to do that. No, this isn't working for me, or that's not going to work for me. And in response to that, instead of working with you, which a physician should do, whether they're VA or not, they stalked you and made up stories about you that had no basis in reality. Is that physician still working for the VA?
Yes.
Okay. If folks, when you hear veterans like me who say, I have a hard time, like my co-host over at Vet Nation's like, dude, you got to put in your VA stuff. You got to put in your VA stuff. And then I watch what happens to Kev and I watch what's happening to you. And I'm like, I don't think so. No. Like,
Oh, you're mute.
Kevin, you're muted, Kev.
Oops.
Oh, he's
So
getting
I
angry.
was saying that's a common theme that I keep running across is because I was the same way. I had 5 years of blissful, what I thought was good care at the VA. I mean, I didn't go to the VA for like 15 years after I got out. And then I finally decided, okay, it's time, I don't want to lose my wife. Um, so and I got service connected right away. Everything was opposite of the horror stories that I heard. Everything. I got care right away. I got in, got everything taken care of, got on the medications that I needed to be on, that I thought I needed to be on, which is another really bad situation because once I left the VA and sought outside sources, um, she had me take a genealogy test on what kind of medications I should be on versus what I should completely stay away from, and then the ones in the middle where they're hit and miss or whatever. And every medication that the VA had me on was in the red list of stay the fuck away from.
So
So
based on your genetics.
yeah, based on your genetics. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Based on your
So
genetics. You'd think the VA would do something like that or have something to offer like that, but no, they don't give a shit. They'll just put you on 1,200 milligrams of fucking lithium, a day.
whether it's good for you or not, AVA, So you started having these problems. You finally get approved for community care. But now you have to go back to the VA to get your actual prescriptions filled. And so last week you went to the most local VA clinic for you. You walk in and they won't provide you service. What was their reasoning for that?
Their reason was because I had a camera, but the true reason is because, well, that I feel is because of the fact that the doctor made up the fact that I was coming in there to hurt people. So they had the
Okay,
security
Well,
guard.
wait a minute. Tell him about.
so how
Tell him
long?
about.
So, go ahead, Kev.
Tell him about the very first reason they told you they couldn't help you was because you were in community care now. After you fought so hard to get into community care, they put you in community care. Then your community care never reached out to you. You didn't have any idea of who you were supposed to talk to, and
Correct.
you
But
needed medication bad. You needed to find out why they didn't tell you about, the mass that was in your chest or whatever. You needed to find out that you needed to see a doctor right away. It was life threatening. You needed life saving care at that particular moment, and the VA turned you away because you were in community care.
You this is why we have Kevin on. He tells everybody's story for them.
Well,
no,
he wasn't going to get. He was.
I know. I was.
A lot.
I'm not used to
no.
hearing all this stuff. It's just
No,
a
it's absolutely fine. I just like to pick on Kev.
disgusting story for me. I have to experience this stuff, and I have Kevin
You're
there.
going through it. That's why I wanted you on. You're going through this, and you have to keep track of all this garbage that's happening. And
Right.
Sometimes you lose the forest for the trees in some of this.
Right.
So,
I have a TBI as well. I can't remember a lot of stuff, and that's I was told, and I forgot to tell you this as well, TC, is that I was literally told by the VA White House hotline to record at the VA because of what was happening to me.
well, never take advice from the White House, by the way. I don't care who's in the White House. You just don't listen to them. But so you're running into this. You're getting the runaround. They can't help you because you're community care, even though you have this life-threatening situation, potentially life-threatening situation going on.
Right. The VA is, aside from that too, like I just recently had a pacemaker replaced in March. I was 19 months past my battery change because the VA refused to see me.
So now you do have community care.
Yeah.
VA is still responsible for your care. They won't see you for the pacemaker. That you have a doctor making up stories about you being a threat.
Yes.
You show up last week. I'm assuming you're going in there for your medications.
Correct.
You stop where you're supposed to stop, and they're like, well, first, we're not going to see you because you have a camera. 2, because you're dangerous. Right?
Yes, sir.
So no, it doesn't really bother me. I'm old enough now where I get used to it. So now you have these medications that you need that are prescribed by your actual community care doctor.
Correct.
But now you can't get them because they're playing hard ass with you. So did you ever get your meds?
Yes, I went back the next day as they directed. They did have my medication available.
Okay.
And yeah, that's crazy.
But
like me,
but you had to go 2 days in a row, which I'm assuming you have some sort of career field or work that you do now.
No.
No, he says.
Fighting the VA is a daily battle for me.
Yeah. No, that's the full-time job. obviously, for most people these days. So now you're taking time out of your day to go 2 days in a row. You're taking time out of your day to go to get something squared away that could have been done in one visit. So you go back to file a complaint today, and they will not give you their names, and they call the VA police on you.
Right. And every time previous to this, everybody wanted to run by policy this, policy that, and then all of a sudden, law enforcement's there to enforce the law.
Yeah. Well, and that I obviously, as you know, I was watching. And he said, "Well, I can't enforce policy. I can only enforce law, and there's no law that says they have to identify themselves." And you called him on it. I mean, you did it respectfully, but he did try and go and get the names of the individuals involved, but he didn't. He was gone for what was like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, damn near 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yep. And he never did get their names. He did get supervisor and whatnot. But credit to him, he didn't try and run you off for having your camera, because I think he knows he can't.
Correct.
Are you? Oh, we lost Kev. That's all right. So, how are you feeling? About this now? Because you have your meds now for 30 days. So do you have to go back?
Yes. Yeah, well, I don't have to see, the whole thing could have been solved in one phone call, but since the community care provider failed to tell me that my consult was expired, along with the VA failing to tell me that the consult was expired, I couldn't fix that. And then when I called in to get my medication, they told me, "Oh, your consult's expired. We can't give it to you," even though the script was filled the day before. And they've been giving this to me for almost a year now, and all of a sudden they can't. And that was the problem, is they called it non-formulary, and they can't make money off of it, is what they're really saying.
So,
in my opinion.
When you duck out of my stream like that, you have to buy a membership.
I'm sorry. I told you I suck at all this shit. I finally got signed in to be able to use the chat. Oh, Jesus.
I'm glad that you ducked out so you could sign in to use the chat. You're fired.
Oh. I didn't duck out. I accidentally kicked myself out.
Oh, jeez.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
No, you're. So
I didn't mean to interrupt the Angry Vet show.
Is that what this is now? It's your show. It's your. Brandon,
the vets are starting to kick in.
I think we need a lamp check. I don't even know what that means, but I don't know what a lamp is. Oh, it must be something on your show. On your
yeah.
I watch his stuff, but he gets on there sometimes. He just keeps going and going and I'm like, dude, I gotta go to bed, and I'm at work, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, AVA. I'm gonna go smoke a cigarette.
So the community care, and the problem, one big problem, is that community care and the VA don't communicate. It's like two rocks in a hard place.
Well, and community care, you're dealing with actual, and I want to say, not that there aren't medical doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists and whatnot in the VA, but in the community care, you're actually dealing with civilian doctors with private practice or group practices who are separate from working directly for the state, federal, state, whatever, however you say it. Now, they do get paid by the VA, but they're not on the VA payroll.
Right.
And how are you feeling about the care you're receiving from community care? Are they treating you like a human being?
100,000,000%. I feel heard.
That is some Army level math right there.
Yeah, that was my attempt to go past 4.
And for the Marines watching, 4 is 2 more than 2 fingers. Yes. Careful, you're probably flashing some sort of weird gang sign that's going to get us taken down. So I want people to have this put into perspective. Oh gosh, we got Iowa Audits is in the house. We got Mama G is in. She's saying she's sorry that Angry Vet is having problems with the VA. It's not just Angry Vet, Mama G. It's AVA as well. Iowa Audit says sex scandal at Iowa Veterans Home. Breaking news. Email me. I'd like to hear more. Well, I don't know if I'd like to hear more about that. I don't think I want to hear.
I'm going to be talking to him extensively about it this weekend. So we're gonna see him this weekend, TC.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Very good guy. He's done a lot to help vets. And
I'm thinking about making a visit to this VA home.
That would be interesting to catch. But anyway, so you're getting this high level of care now, 100 million times more than what you were getting at the VA. But you did 10 years of active duty. When did you get medically separated, retired?
In 2016.
So in 2016, you get medically retired due to the injury from deployment. And it's now 2024. So 8 years of VA care. And, well, did you go into VA care directly as soon as you got out?
I was actually going to the VA while I was being discharged, while I was doing all the exit.
So we'll give it 8 years.
Right.
So you got 8 years of VA care, and your experience with VA care has gone steadily downhill in that time.
Absolutely.
Are you running into other vets who don't have channels, who, don't have a voice the same way that you do? They don't have other people talking to them. Are you running into other vets that are getting frustrated, getting angry, saying, I'm at the end of my rope, I don't know what to do?
Online I am, but no one's actually come up to me in person to tell me about their griefs. Like today I saw somebody that it looked like he really wanted to talk to me about something, and he was just standing there waiting for almost an hour for somebody to talk to him.
And the reason that I bring that up is because, we hear the number 22 a day with the vets, 22 vets a day take their own lives. We know that number's actually probably higher, but
Yes.
It's an average. And I would say not a good reason, but a high percentage of that, or a big cause of that, is because of the lack of actual care in the VA for veterans.
I would agree.
Go ahead.
I was just saying I would agree with that statement.
And a lot of them don't go out and get care because they hear horror stories like this. And I'm not saying we shouldn't be telling these stories, because I do think we need to. But, you call the White House VA care line and they tell you, yes, you need to make sure you're taking video. So you take video, and then they treat you like dirt. Angry Vet takes video. They treat him like dirt. And what, and the theme of my channel has been from the outset is anything that the state does, and I use the phrase the state, I use it to describe the federal state, the state, the county state, the city state. Anything that's done by what most people call government always screws up, always fails. And then when they fail, they protect themselves. And I don't think I have ever seen, even compared to law enforcement, I do not think I have ever seen a government entity more self-protective, more clandestine in how it handles complaints and mistreatment than the VA. I can't think of any organization that's, I mean, at least with cops, when you shoot video, even if they try to shut you down when you're shooting video, it's on camera that they're shutting you down because you're shooting video, and somebody will pick it up and run with it. But with the VA, they don't care. They don't care. They can sweep it under the rug and act like they're doing their job because they're not there to be filmed. They're there to provide medical service or other care.
They can.
And
Oh, sorry.
no, go.
To me, it feels like the doctors can say whatever they want about a patient, and it'll be taken as gospel, and that's wrong. And that's what's happening.
Where have you been emotionally through all of this, especially over the last, I mean, how long has this been going on?
This has been going on almost 2.5 years.
I assume there's been some pretty dark moments where you're like, it's not worth it.
I don't really think that I don't want to talk about that.
I'm not talking about deleting. I'm talking about, like, why bother fighting them?
Oh,
Is
yeah.
what I'm saying.
I've come to that a lot, but I've also, like you were asking me, if I've heard other stories from other veterans. Hearing from them makes me want to continue my fight, and it encourages me because then I can use my experience to help them.
And so, like today, when you went in to go make the complaint and you started shooting video, you knew that it was probably going to be a little bit of a roadblock for you in even getting the names for the complaints.
Oh yeah, I was already standing there for an hour. That's when I just started getting annoyed.
So you waited until you got annoyed to start shooting video.
Yeah.
Or going live.
I told them too. I said, I'm just trying to be respectful. I don't want to film. Just do the right thing.
Yeah. Well, hey, I got news for you, or a bit of a veteran advice. Just always film. Just
I'm learning that. I'm learning that the hard way.
just always film. I if I see a cop pulling to the gas station next to me now, my phone comes out, by the way. Just
one thing I wanted to add to your end of watch comment is I believe that the VA is responsible for, I haven't punched all the numbers yet, but I believe they're responsible for at least 50% of the 22 of us a day. And I think the 22 of us a day is more like probably 23, 24 by now. And I know this, and so should AVA, and probably you. Well, you haven't really been through the VA gamut yet, but through personal experience, I'm not saying I wanted to end my watch by any fucking means, but I felt every fucking bit of it when I was denied my fucking mental health appointment. And I started thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, what if I was a homeless vet coming in looking for, mental health, or what if it was somebody else that needed this and was being treated like this?
That's right.
The it's scary to even fucking think about, because how many people have they forced into that statistic? How many people has the VA forced into that statistic? Because every day when I brush my teeth, I look in the mirror and I tell myself, I'm not going to be a statistic today. And I have to do that because of this shit that I've been through with the VA. It's not because of all the traumas that I had, that I'm rated for. It's not because of of anything in my past. It's because of the way the VA fucked me. And that's how a lot like AVA was saying, I get stories left and right. I mean, I'm always getting emails, and when you read these stories, it breaks your heart. And like these guys are just, they're on their last fucking thread. They are hanging from a thread, trying to just make themselves better, and the VA is getting completely in the way of it.
In December of 2022, my good friend Bob and Sue, Bob's a retired special forces operator, and his son Garrett. And Kev, you probably know a little bit about this because I covered it for a few months. Garrett, I just let this sink in too, folks. We have got to do something to end all these stupid wars.
100%.
82 years of war this country's been at. 82 years of war without declaring war since the end of World War II. 82 years.
We've been
80,
yeah, we've been
82.
we've been at war since I went into the military back in 1992. We've been at war. It's been the same fucking war for that long.
And before that, it was a bunch of other little wars that
yeah,
we've been at for 82 years without a single declared war. And the longest of that has been the global war on terror that got forced on us through manipulation. And
that's the key word. They use that in the fucking police reports when they arrest you. They
Yep.
call you a domestic terrorist. And if they're not actually blatantly pointing the finger at you, calling you a domestic terrorist, they are fucking presenting it as you are and using the word terrorist. So the fucking judge reads the words terrorist.
That's right.
But
we've been at war now for 82 years. And some of you know this, a lot of you know this. I am a big proponent for the for the bring our troops home, defend the guard stuff. And I'm actually speaking a week from Sunday. I will be honored a syndicated radio program to present the Defend the Guard to talk about that legislation. But to let this sink in, the longest war in the history of the modern United States has been the global war on terror. When Bob's son Garrett was born, Bob and Sue's son Garrett was born, the war was already started. Garrett grew up while our country was in the middle of the global war on terror and got old enough to join the Army and join the Rangers, and he and his dad were fighting in the same war at the same time.
sad.
Garrett goes over, experiences traumatic events in Afghanistan, comes home, is traumatized by those events, and we now have figured out that in a PTSD related episode throws himself in front of a vehicle. And the family has to fight like hell to get him into the VA close to home in Minnesota.
Sad.
And his injuries, his wounds, whether the physical or the internal invisible wounds of PTSD, whatever the case might be, were brought on by the state, by the country, by the nation that he went and fought for in his mind, which is where we all were. I want to fight for my country.
That's how they get you. That's when you're 18 years old, you're young, you're patriotic as fuck. You want to go do something for your country. That's how they get us.
Yeah. And yet they've got to fight to get him help after he had to fight to get any kind of help before and wasn't getting anywhere. And so when I tell these stories, when I tell AVA's story, when I tell Tav's story, I'm not telling these stories. I'm not telling them to tell people, screw it, just go do your own thing. I'm saying something has got to change. And if we can't get people help in the VA that they're owed this. That's what people don't understand. As veterans, you're owed this. It's like the one thing they promise you, care afterwards. They make you jump through all these freaking hoops to get the care that you're owed while they give it away to everyone else.
Right.
They give all the money, they give all the time,
Right.
they give all the care to people who've done nothing for this country.
I read an article the other day that I haven't really verified it yet or anything like that, but I heard that Congress is giving a percentage of the VA budget, is shifting it over to ICE and funneling it over to ICE. What I don't know the acronym for ICE, but they're immigration control enforcement or some shit like that or whatever, for healthcare for illegal immigrants. Now,
Well,
stick that
this kind of stuff happens, right? It happens constantly. And telling vets about this stuff, vets who maybe not had negative experiences with the VA or they've had maybe some really positive experiences with the VA because all they're doing is they're going in a couple times a year for dental work and glasses, whatever the
knock on wood.
they haven't had these negative experiences, right? And it's like getting a boomer to understand why Social Security is going to fail them. And they say, what do you mean that it's going to fail me? That money's in an account for me. Like, no, it's not. Right. It's like literally not how it works. And it's the same thing with the VA. They take from the VA to give to people who have nothing should have no reason expecting that money. Right. And yet we strip veterans of this care that they literally in a lot of cases fought for.
Yeah.
AVA, you are continuing to wanting to continue to make your voice heard in all of this. You've got a month now before your next prescription needs to be filled. How are you? Do you have a game plan going forward? How are you going to tackle this, and what's your next step?
Oh, since it took 2 weeks this last time, I think I'm going to start 3 weeks ahead of time.
So like next week.
So I'm going to start calling next Monday just to get the ball rolling.
Touche. After your conversation today, do you feel like they're probably going to put up more roadblocks, or do you feel like maybe you made enough of a point?
I really don't know, because the VA is always trying something different with me.
I wish I could say it's just you, but as we're learning, it's, Mike, my, Skipper from Vet Nations had his own run-ins with the VA on stuff. He just had one here a few weeks ago. Maybe it was a month or so ago now, where he went in for, I think it was it for glasses? Yeah, I think Mike went in to go for glasses, and he showed up. Oh, we don't do call-in appointments. Well, you told me. You told me to call in, and he gets there, and they're like, "Oh, well, we can get you in this afternoon." So he goes back at 1:00 when they tell him to get there, and "Oh, we're closed for the afternoon for training."
Yeah. And that's the idiocracy. That's the idiocracy of these people. I went through the same thing when I got denied my mental health, and so I was like, well, I'll call primary care and I'll schedule an appointment with them, and they'll they'll kick it up to mental health, and that doctor will talk to that doctor, because they're all in network, yada, yada, yada. They all talk to each other. That's how I figured I'd do it. Then primary care was like, no, you got to go to urgent care. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Then 5 minutes later, they're calling me back saying, oh, we're sorry for the inconvenience, Mr. Soper, but we have an appointment for you and it's in an hour. And I'm like, well, fucking hot damn. I'll fucking ride up there right now. I'm an hour away. Fuck it. Get in the car, get up there 5 minutes before I get there. A doctor's calling me, telling me that my appointment's been canceled. Like,
While
I make this up, bro. I cannot make this up. Like,
while I'm thinking of it, if somebody who's watching would go over to AVA's YouTube channel and put his link in the description so that we can get more people to subscribe. I saw he's almost at 1,000 subscribers.
yeah.
So I'd love to get more people over there. We got to get this. We got to get him monetized because he ain't gonna make any money off his face. Look at him.
I know. Yeah. But he's got a pretty strong beard game though, doesn't he?
I don't know if I'd go with strong. It's a little scraggly down towards like the.
Well, I'll tell you what the answer is to fix. I know exactly what the fix is, and it's going to be a long
dismantle the VA and just start giving the vets the money directly.
100% But why can't we have a subsidized insurance card that the government pays for? Why can't we go take Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Medicare, Medicaid, whatever card, whatever insurance card they have or whatever? Why can't we have a subsidized insurance card that the government fucking pays for? They get the bill, whatever, and we get to go to wherever the fuck we want to whomever we fucking want.
Imagine what kind of care vets could get if the amount of money that's spent on the Veteran Affairs Administration every year were just going to veterans.
You know how much money the government would save just by doing that? We could get rid of just about all these hospitals.
Don't. They will find a way to waste that money. They will. There will be a surcharge on your card every
Yeah. It's and one day we'll be standing in front of Congress and they'll have to listen to that. They will have to listen to our words as fucking equals, period.
Oh, Kevin, with a vengeance, he crushed his bottle to make a point. So, AVI, I know you've got you had a video that premiered this evening at like 4:00 your time.
Yes.
Yeah. So everybody, make sure you head over there and watch that. I want to give props to AVA because he wasn't planning on this today, even though I was messaging him during his stream and he just very tactfully didn't read it out loud. Telling him I want to have you on tonight with Kevin. And Kevin, did what Kevin
talking about StreamYard. We weren't like, let's get it on. Let's get it on.
We don't want to get it on. No, so I really appreciate taking the time and doing this. I know you've not ever done this before, but if you run into any more developments or if you run into any more roadblocks, reach out to me. I'd love to have you back on to talk a little bit more about it. And we got a lot of people watching in the stream right now, not to make you nervous, but we've got people watching the stream, people like Iowa Audits and others who've been, either as civilians seen the garbage that happens or who have been in the military and have gone through it, and they're there for you. They're going to support you, and we will definitely have that in mind. I will be sending people to your channel, and
appreciate that.
And when Mike and I get a schedule set up where we're streaming again for Vet Nation, where it's both of us, maybe we'll get you on there as well, because a lot of people love that. A lot of vets like that because it's called Vet Nation, as opposed to they don't know anything about me without Vet Nation. So Vet Nation wouldn't be what it is without me. I like that better.
Yeah, Mike's not going to see this. Nah.
Morning coffee should be interesting tomorrow.
I'm going to get a text. Hey, were you on TC's channel last night?
Yes, because he asked me. That's why. Mike's too busy. Mike's too busy bringing chicks on in the morning for his coffee show. I'm like trying to figure out why in the world that girl is sitting in a room with Mike. That's the problem. So
I
hey,
appreciate you having me on, TC. That's kind of you to let me up on your platform and share my story.
this isn't my platform. This belongs to the people, man.
People's platform.
This belongs to the people. And I do something, and I said this last week with Sam and Nathan, and I said it with some others. I do something not in a self-congratulatory way. I just do something that other platforms don't do. And I don't mean that. This has been the nature of my show the whole time, is to tell other people's stories. And so when I find interesting stories like yours or Kevin's or, like Iowa Audits or whoever, I ask people, I constantly harassing them, come on, tell your story, tell your story, tell your story. Because the more eyes we get on these stories, the more people that we get paying attention to them, even through my little channel, through my platform, the more eyes that we get on this, the more traction it gets. And the more traction it gets, the more likely it is for people who are maybe in other forms of media to start paying attention, because nobody wants to tell a story that isn't getting told somewhere else. They don't want to do the work of actually talking to the people and getting to know them. They just want to be able to go, oh, hey, I caught 5 minutes of this interview, or I caught 5 minutes of this conversation.
I understand.
I had something in my beard. My bad.
And so they just don't want to do the work. And I'm over here going, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if 40 people watch or if 4 people watch or 400 people watch or 4,000 people watch. It's just getting the story out.
Right. It's there forever. It's going to get watched.
Yeah. And so as soon as I heard what you were going through today, I was like, now we got to get him on. And today was a perfect opportunity to do it because of the fact that you and Kev's stories are so much alike. Just so much alike. I mean, granted, you're not facing felony wiretapping charges.
Right.
Yet. Shouldn't have said that.
Don't go nowhere, AV. Give me 1 second.
He says, one second. I don't know what we're supposed to do while he's doing his thing. Oh, well, he was Brownwater Navy, so you can't actually count time with Brownwater Navy people.
Brownwater. I appreciate the support, and I did see you in the chat. It's just that these types of things shouldn't be happening.
Oh,
and
that
shouldn't be.
This is the kind of stuff that pisses me off. And there again, this is why, the origins of my channel go back to, that virus in 2020 and the stuff that was happening. But the story might be different, but it's the same. It's the same. It's the state is constantly abusing us at all levels. And sadly, the people who get abused the most more often are almost always veterans. It's almost always veterans that get abused the hardest and abused the most. And it's not fair. It's not right.
One thing that I have seen in common with a lot of the people that come to me is that they're afraid to lose their benefits if they speak out.
See, that kind of the fact that anybody feels that way, that they're going to lose their benefits if they speak out, that to me is, it not only is it infuriating, but it's maddening as well as terrifying. It's terrifying that anybody feels that way. It's an absolutely mind-boggling level of fear that they count on. They count on people being afraid of what you're going through. They count on people being afraid of what Kevin's going through, what Mike's going through.
Right, and that's a tool that they use against the veterans. And this is all my opinion. I'm not saying anything for fact. I don't know. I
No,
don't have
I don't think it's an opinion. I think it's a fact. I really do think it's a fact that there are, but it's not just you and the VA. It's everybody. It's people going into the post office and getting told, "Oh, you can't record in here." It's people showing up at a traffic stop. It's people standing in their front yard in their driveway shooting video of a traffic stop that's taking place on their private property and getting told, first go back in your house, and then when they don't go back in the house, getting told, if you set so much as 1 foot on this concrete, you're going to go to jail. And the reason why that works, whether it's the VA or the post office or a public school board meeting or a city hall or the DMV or the sheriff's office or the police department, the reason why it works is that people are terrified of losing what they think of as a privilege, what they think of as something that can be stripped from them. And the reason that is so ingrained in people is because it's beat into their heads by the system from the day they start in kindergarten until they graduate from high school and further on. I saw a video today, and you guys will relate to this. I can guarantee you'll relate to this. It was a guy that shot video. He was at his kid's baseball game, and the kids were playing on one field, and the national anthem started playing at another field. In the middle of the game, all the kids, and this is going to sound heartwarming until you think about it. In the middle of the baseball game, the national anthem plays, and all the kids stop what they're doing, and they turn to the sound of the music, and they stand at attention, their hands over their hearts, take their hats off, and all of that. And this person was a vet, and applauds. I'm a vet. I'm so proud to see this happen at my kid's baseball game. And, Kev, you've known me for a while now. You know what went through my head? I go to school board meetings and I go to city council meetings now, and when they do the Pledge of Allegiance, I don't do it. I have lots of reasons for that. But when I think about the national anthem and the way people treat that, they don't know why they're doing it.
No,
they don't know. They have no idea. They're honoring a republic. They're honoring a country that's lost the plot. Our nation, our republic has lost the plot. So they're just standing there doing what they've been conditioned to do, taught this compliant behavior because it's the right thing to do. And as long as you do this right thing on the outside, then you're a patriot and you love your country. And it's all those other people. And I'm not talking about people who are taking a knee during the national anthem for identitarian politics. I'm literally looking at this going, there's no honor in singing the national anthem. There's no honor in putting your hand over your heart for the national anthem anymore and saluting a flag that has no meaning at all. And the reason I know that doesn't have any meaning anymore is because people like you guys, especially, have been abused and used, mistreated, and they're trying to discard you from the very system that you fought so goddamn hard to preserve.
Their hearts are in the right place. Don't get it twisted. I mean, look, just because you're conditioned doesn't make you a bad person. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not blaming them.
Yeah.
I'm blaming the regime, the system that has conditioned them to see it that way.
I agree. There's two things I wanted to hit up real quick that I heard when I was off camera.
And then we'll kick you both out of here.
If there's anything that is 100% going to get them off the hook, the couple that you were just talking about, because I know how we all know how the injustice system works. They'll take it all the way if they have to, if they really want to, instead of just dropping the charges like they're supposed to. Is the fact that it's on video, her actually walking away from the fucking scene.
That's
Not
right.
the fact that she stepped on the fucking concrete. She's walking away from the fucking scene. Like dude's telling her to stay where she is, and she walks away
That's
from
right.
further away from the fucking scene, regardless of the concrete. And that's what their lawyer needs to fucking hammer in, because yeah, like literally, like she's walking away from where he doesn't want her to be, walking further away. That's the sealer right there for them. On the second note, what the fuck were you all talking right before that? What were you talking about?
We were just doing filler because you said don't go anywhere,
You said, wait a second.
and so
Oh yeah. I had to call somebody to make sure I could say this. So you had said, TC, that AVA and my cases are very similar. Only I got, I'm being charged and they're trying to send me to jail for 40
your
years.
treatment is similar.
Yeah. And what people don't what people aren't like really looking at here, okay, is a Veterans Affairs is doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. Like, all the actions, everything is exactly the same. He's got a YouTube channel. He's posting his videos up online on his YouTube channel. He is he's keeping records for himself via the video camera.
We can't have that.
Right. And so am I. I'm doing the same exact. I haven't done anything different than what that man has done. We both live in two-party states. California is a two-party state as well. They're not charging.
Allegedly, he lives in California.
Right. They're not charging him. He's sat in private offices, administrative offices, videotaped. They don't like it, but they're doing it, and they're letting them do it. But they didn't let me do. They're not letting me do it.
I don't think they're ready for another fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's something that does cross my mind a lot. Is like, how bipolar is that?
Yeah, it's very very.
I think it goes back to even how Baltimore County PD, Metro PD has learned they just don't even monkey with you anymore. In this case, the VA kind of they took that bite and got this ball rolling, but I don't think they're ready to tackle it, because the last thing in the world they want to do right now, with all the pressure and all the heat that you brought, and now that AVA is bringing, and got guys like Mike out there who are filming all of his VA interactions, and he's in Cali, or Nevada and Cali. They're like, we don't any more pressure. Look at how they treat the blind vet.
Blind justice. Look how they
Or
treat
blind justice. Look how they treat blind. If they get any more heat, vets are going to start showing up to their appointments with 10 other vets. That's what's going to happen.
With video cameras.
Dude, I do not want to see you get your prostate exam, but I will go if I have to.
Blind justice is that story has probably got to be the most disgusting story on the internet today, as far as VA treating how the VA treats it.
Right.
This guy spent so much time in solitaire, naked, because of these motherfuckers. In solitary confinement with no clothes, cold, wet, garbage food. Like, this man, if there's any other story that could surpass this man's story,
I don't know what it would be.
I have no clue what it would. You'd have to. There would have to be a hospital that offed like 500 fucking veterans by accident, or some shit like that. Like, that's how serious that guy's story is, and mainstream media won't even fucking touch it.
Right. AVA, where can people find you?
You can
besides
find
in
me
California?
at Veterans Affairs Media here on YouTube. I don't have any other social media outlets.
You might
It's
want
a
to
hard,
think about it.
it's a hard one to find because of the name. Because when you punch in a Veterans Affairs, you get all the Veterans Affairs stuff. So you have to scroll. You just scroll
We
down, and
will
you'll find
put
them.
the link in the video description.
Yeah, it sucks, but I did choose my channel name on purpose so that when veterans do find the Veterans Affairs, they find me too.
Well, we will definitely be putting your video or the link to your channel in the video description after this renders. So you go get out of here and go and just enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'm going to say goodbye to Kevin after we say goodbye to you. And
All right.
well, because Kevin's medicated, he's got to go to bed in like 10 minutes. So
Well, Angie's already asking me to let her know when I'm done. I told her, oh, just another 5 minutes, like 15 minutes ago.
yeah, I can only imagine. So
All right.
AVA, thanks for dropping in and being willing to do this. I mad respect for you, brother.
Love you,
I
brother.
appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We'll
Thank
talk
you
soon.
for support, everyone.
AVA, call David.
Roger.
Yeah, there. We're gonna see you this weekend. That's the plan. I can't say that without
Wait,
the minute we promise it happens, then something comes up. But
oh, it's fucking happening.
if even if you have to drive to my house,
It's happening.
that's the plan. We will see you this weekend. Where can people find all of your wonderful content? Those who might watch on playback who don't know who you are.
It's The Angry Vet at YouTube. All you got to do is put the AN and it automatically comes up.
When's your next court date?
They are trying to get me to trial June 24th pre-trial hearing, which is probably where they'll, throw everything out. Whatever.
I don't know how they couldn't.
I can't believe how long it's taken already for the federal side to not come down with a judgment.
That's
Usually it comes in a little quicker than it has, but I was told there was a couple judges that were sick, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. We got people on the inside, and we're waiting on that to come down within the next couple weeks. I would hope. If it doesn't come down, then I guess I'm going to trial. And I'm going to stick it right up their fucking ass if they want to take it to a jury trial. And that's where it is. I'm not scared either way because regardless of what happens, regardless of what happens, it's getting kicked to the state appellate.
Yeah, it's going to it automatically go to appellate.
Automatically goes, and I'll just stay out of jail some more, Cecil County. You can't put me there, motherfuckers.
No one. They don't know what jail to put you in,
right?
You'd end up in the Baltimore County.
Under's better word for it.
You'd end up at the Baltimore County Zoo. You've identified a new animal,
right?
Oh,
so the Angry Vet. I haven't got the website up yet. I haven't got the nonprofit going yet. That's all in the works. All that.
I was going to make a trifold joke, but I won't.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He needs our support right now too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just as much as everybody else.
Absolutely. But that's why I was going to make the trifold joke because it's just there can only be one trifold salesman.
There can only be one.
All right, man. You got my number, and
I'll send you the address to the Airbnb if you want it.
Yeah,
I got it. I got it for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So
yeah, you send that to me, and we will make sure that we get connected.
All right, brother.
All right, man. You get out of here. Go tell your lovely other half that I apologize that your 15 minutes turned into a Coast Guard 20.
Always does.
All right, bro.
All right, I love you guys. Love the chat. If I missed you in chat, I'm sorry. You know, it is what it is. I suck at this shit. And what else did I want to say? Oh, not much else, but screenshot this. Generally specific.
Get out of here, Kev. We'll see you soon.
All right, see ya.
Bye. All right, folks. This is why we do what we do, right? Vets have given up so much. Whether we support the wars or not, we can all come to a place where we can understand and agree that it's time for the endless wars to stop. And as my friend Dan McKnight from Defend the Guard, Bring Our Troops Home has said, if you want to honor vets, stop making them. It would be great if the VA just shriveled up and died on the vine because there were no more vets for them to take care of because we weren't fighting any more stupid wars. That would be amazing. If you haven't checked out Defend the Guard and Bring Our Troops Home, please do that. All of this ties in together. All of this stuff is powerful and incredibly important. If you haven't followed a Veterans Affairs Media yet, please go follow him. If you haven't followed Kevin yet, the Angry Vet, follow him. Stay abreast of their story. Stay on top of it. Support them. And once again, I'm going to say it like, one, Greg, the Flying Auditor, thank you so much for that wonderful super chat that you sent. Can't thank you enough. But if you like what I do, if you want to see me continue to be able to do this, I want to improve my equipment. I want to improve the studio a little bit. I want to do some stuff with sound and lighting. And I want to get some new equipment for when I'm out on the streets talking to people and doing stuff. So if you want to help out that way, there's lots. You could go to my Subscribe Star, pick a level of support there. You can pick a level of support here on the memberships for the channel. But more than anything is share these videos out. Tell your friends to watch them. Tell your friends to listen to these stories because that's why this channel exists. I exist to tell other people's stories or to point out the things that I see happening in society on a daily basis that are wrong. They're abusive, whether it be from local street cops to other state entities. We live in an abusive relationship. We are in an abusive relationship. The only difference is we can't get out of it right now. And the people who are owed the most very often get the least, while the people who are owed nothing get the most. Be they politicians or other criminals. And yes, I said that. Politicians or other criminals. I really appreciate everybody that tunes in, especially the people that have now become regulars for all of my stuff. I cannot thank you enough for watching. I can't thank you enough for being here live during the streams. And I know a lot of you are sharing this and pushing all of this stuff out. If you haven't yet, like, comment, share, come back, like and share and comment after the video is rendered and is up just to watch. We have to all fight together for people who are fighting fights that feel alone. And we've got Sam Allen. What's this? Sam Allen in Alaska. His lawyers didn't show up in court in Alaska. Satoshi, send me an email, mbrrpodcast@yahoo.com. I'd be interested in hearing more about that. So if you could send me an email about that, I'd like to hear more about that. See if I can figure out a way to tell his story. Fight for the people that have, even if they were misled, thought they were doing right by fighting for this republic. Stand up for them because at some point they put their lives on the line and stood up for you in what they thought was the right way. That's what matters. A lot of these people really thought they were doing the right thing, and they shouldn't be treated the way that they're treated now. Every single one of them deserves a lot better. I'm disgusted by what we do to our vets. So, my friends, until next time, fight for your liberty. It is yours. Fight for your freedom. It belongs to you. And as always, sic semper tyrannis.
We are go for liftoff in T-minus 30. Stand by for further instructions, Minnesota Black Robe Regiment. Secondary guidance systems engaged. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, it will be on my mark. All systems are a go. All systems are a go. Minnesota Black Robe Regiment, you are over the target. You are authorized to fire at